Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight, and it's almost as if they are actively trying to see how bad they could make this show before they have to get their act together, get all their ducks in a row, get their shit in gear, and prepare for competition and take things seriously for once. This show tonight was an utter abomination. You want to talk about a disaster? Look no further than tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw, and we are here to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Monday Night Raw review. Let's bring the hammer down, everybody. Let's do this.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me. If you're still a wrestling fan, then I feel bad for you guys, because it's an embarrassment to be a wrestling fan following an episode of Monday Night Raw like we got tonight, following the 4th of July holiday weekend. I hope you guys all had a very safe and happy 4th of July. I hope you brought the hammer down on the holiday just like we did here. Hope you grilled up your burgers, hope you cracked your beers, and I hope you guys had a great time. You know what? I know if you watched tonight's Monday Night Raw tonight, you did not have a good time. And if you did, you need to seriously seek mental help, because there was not one endearing quality, not one good thing at all that happened on tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. I felt like Gilligan on his 3-hour tour, and it would eventually feel like forever because they got stuck at the destination. And that's what it feels like. I sit there and I get on this journey with Monday Night Raw, and it's a 3-hour tour of nonsense. It's 3 hours of bullshit. It's 3 hours of the WWE just sticking a big old middle finger right in our faces. And you don't have to look any further than the name Gary the Goat GarBUTT. Gary the Goat GarBUTT. I can't make this shit up. Because I am not that bad at making things up. Things that I come up with are infinitely better. And let me give you an example. We will talk about Gary the Goat GarBUTT. And we could use this actually as the opening thing. Gary the Goat GarBUTT was revealed tonight as Roman Reigns' partner, chosen by the sweat machine himself, Shane McMahon. Big time things wrong with this whole main event of Monday Night Raw tonight. A, this is a storyline based and supposed to be set on SmackDown Live. Why it is going to close an episode of Monday Night Raw as the main event, I will never know. For some reason, Roman Reigns, since being shipped to SmackDown Live, only wants to perform on Monday Night Raw. I can't figure it out, just like we can't figure out half the shit that's going on with the WWE right now. But Shane McMahon is on this adventure all night long, sweating all over the arena, dropping buckets all over all of the employees of the Prudential Center. And he's looking for some scrub, some jerk-off, to be Roman Reigns' partner. He doesn't want to find him a viable competitor. He doesn't want to find him a real professional wrestler. He's going to find him some jerk-off that works at the Prudential Center. And we have to see multiple segments throughout the night. They go and they talk to some garbage man, and they say, "Hey, you look like you're the greatest garbage man of all time." And I'm trying to think, why are they taking shots at Duke the Dumpster Drosy? Right? That's the first thing. The greatest garbage man in professional wrestling has got to be him. I don't think there was ever even another one. And thank God the garbage man didn't get chosen. Right? Then we talked to some other jerk-off. Then we finally talked to Gary. Right? And Gary is a fucking janitor. Gary is a janitor at the Prudential Center. Gary is the 5th grade spelling bee champion of Newark fucking New Jersey. That was what? 65 years ago? Gary the Goat fucking GarBUTT is the two-time Prudential Center Janitor of the fucking Month. And if he's that good at being a janitor, he needs to go in the back and clean up all of the WWE from all the fucking trash that has surrounded the entire company right now. There's so much garbage in the WWE. Gary, the janitor from the Prudential Center, could have made a fucking $5,000 fortune just picking up after Vince McMahon alone. You want to talk about fucking garbage? A janitor, Gary. He gets picked for Roman Reigns' fucking partner. Gary comes out, and he's in a lucha mask. It's not anybody that you would recognize. It's just some ragtag, miscellaneous lucha mask. And he's walking out there like the hunchback of the WWE. Fucking Quasimodoing himself down into the thing, looking like an invalid, right? He's got this mask on, so obviously it's not the fucking Gary we seen in the back. So Gary inadvertently gets a tag in this fucking match, and everybody's like, alright, we all know there's a fucking wrestler under there. He's probably going to take a few bumps, whatever. But Gary, the GOAT GarBUTT, in this fucking match, actually gets over. He does a suicide dive over the top rope, taking out Drew McIntyre. He gets a stiff shot in on Shane McMahon. He's doing fucking roundhouse flippy kicks. And the crowd starts chanting, Gary, Gary, Gary. And then Roman Reigns is on the outside. Gary gets hit with a Claymore kick and gets pinned. The match is over. We get shenanigans. And eventually the dust settles. And Roman and Gary are standing in the ring. And they take Gary's mask off. And it's revealed to be Cedric Alexander, the second Cruiserweight champion in the history of the company, one who has had one of the longer reigns as the Cruiserweight champion, and nobody gave a shit. If I was Cedric Alexander, I would have told Roman, leave this mask on, bro. I just got over in 5 minutes as Gary the GOAT fucking GarBUTT, bigger than I ever have as Cedric Alexander, and I was putting on 5-star fucking matches, but all I had to do was dress up like a jerk-off janitor, put on a mock Rey Mysterio mask, stand next to your big dog ass, and I'm fucking over because I did a flip over the top rope. What is in the fucking water in Newark, New Jersey by the Prudential Center that they were serving to the crowd that made them give a shit about Gary the GOAT doing a fucking flip? Everybody got behind fucking Gary, Gary, Gary. How many times do we see Finn Balor flip? Nobody gives a shit about Finn Balor anymore. He can't even get on TV. Look at what we see guys like Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura do in the ring. Where the fuck are they? But they got Gary the GOAT. But he's going to be Cedric Alexander. You know what would have been better? Here's how I can show you guys that I'm not bad at my creativity. I know we took a left turn and took a long time to get to this point. But if they wanted to make it interesting, they wanted to make it make sense, you could have brought back Lance Anoa'i from Hawaii, the Samoan cousin of Roman Reigns. It's family. It would make sense. He's got his cousins back, and it would have been a little bit more entertaining. It actually maybe would have got Lance over. It would have got him more bookings on the independents if you don't want to sign him. You would have been doing a favor for the family you love to shove down our throats. It would have been better than Cedric Alexander. What fucking reason does Cedric Alexander have to give a damn about what Roman Reigns has got going on? Has he got a grudge against Shane McMahon? Does Shane McMahon walk by and sweat all over him and now he wants to get revenge for him dropping fucking buckets all over his shoulder? Shane McMahon was standing over me, he sweat all over me, and now I'm going to go out there as Gary. I'm going to put this mask on and I'm going to go out there as Gary. And how does Shane McMahon not know that it's not the real Gary? Did Shane McMahon not stand there and put the mask on this dope? Did he go to his janitor's closet and change and then they get interrupted by Cedric Alexander and he's like, hey, I have no reason to do what I'm about to do, but let me get that janitor suit, give me your mop, give me that mask, I'm going to take your spot tonight. Don't worry, old man, you're safe and you'll be employee of the month next month. I got your $5,000 right here. What the fuck happened? Why does he care? What are we watching? Nonsense. It's almost as if they want to sabotage themselves. It's like they're giving a middle finger to us over and over and over again by showing us these things that make no sense. These things that we don't give a shit about. Did you hear anybody, one person even in that crowd, give a damn that was Cedric Alexander? I think half the crowd was trying to figure out who the hell this guy was. Who is this guy? I don't know. I know who it is. What a terrible way to bring Cedric Alexander back to Monday Night Raw. And we are just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about this train wreck of a shit show. There are not enough adjectives in the world with negative connotations to them that you can attach to this show. I've seen so many people praising last week's show. And this week's show, just like last week's show, and the show before that, and the show before that, are all carbon copies of one another. How many times do we have to see 2 out of 3 falls matches? How many times do we have to see elimination style matches? And they are so determined to bring it to us, they decided to break all the rules of an elimination match by giving it to us in the form of a mixed tag match to start tonight's Monday Night Raw. While I appreciate the fact that they started this show with a match, what I do not appreciate is A, the booking of this match. Explain it to me. How did they sit down in the back and say, we're going to do a mixed tag match, but we'll have Elimination Chamber... I'm sorry, God forbid that. We will have Elimination style rules to this tag match. We'll have Seth and Becky on one side, we got Andrade and Zelina on the other, and that's what we'll do. Did nobody in the back raise their hand and go, Mr. McMahon, sir, men don't fight the women. How are we going to pull this off?
Oh, well, you jerk off. First of all, shut up and sit down, because this is my company. And second, Becky will just stand there after she eliminates Zelina.
Well, we can't just have her stand there, Mr. McMahon, sir.
Well, fuck it. Just leave Zelina Vega outside and they can fight on the outside even though they're not in the match anymore. You're fired.
How did anybody let that get past production? Wait a minute. This doesn't make sense. Oh, well, you know what? We'll just throw fucking Lacey Evans out there in between. This way we could take the commercial break before we even get to 10 minutes into the show, because you know the commercials are always the most important. At this point, they should be the most important, because the commercials are more entertaining than half of the fucking show. Than the whole of the show on this evening. I do not appreciate the fact that how many times, you guys, how many times does Monday Night Raw open up with a fucking dramatic novelization by somebody from the back? You got Stephanie McMahon, or Hunter, or Shane, or wrestler ABC, some fucking champion, some challenger coming out there and going on some diatribe very similar to the one I'm going on right now for an excess of 15, 20 minutes. And you'll have this guy talking shit, and then this guy will come out, and then you got all 6 guys in the 6-man match coming out, and it takes 20 to 25 minutes to set up tonight's main event, and no commercials were shown in between. But now, since we're going to have a wrestling match, it is an absolute necessity. We must get to commercials before we even get to 10 minutes into the show, so we will have this nonsense, and we will make it an elimination match because we can't have them wrestling throughout the commercial break. But, sir, on SmackDown, we go to picture-in-picture, and that really kind of helped the president.
Shut up and sit down. You're fired.
I don't understand this show. I don't understand this company. I don't understand how they could put on a television product like tonight and go around patting each other on the fucking back tomorrow. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see, and I certainly hope it is the case, that the third hour in the ratings absolutely tanked and bottoms out this show. Because it deserves it. It absolutely deserves it. And like I said, boys and girls in my Sledgehammer Club, we're just getting started, so sit down or you'll be fired. First of all, if it was absolutely necessary to do what they needed to do, there was an easy way around this. Here comes my creativity to show you how much greater I am at this than they are. And you could have came up with this as well. I'm not saying I'm some fucking genius. I'm using common sense. I'm just a wrestling fan. And these ideas come easily to me. And now you have 20, 30, 40 idiots in a room somewhere that can't come up with something as simple as this. You can have Becky versus Zelina Vega open the matchup in a one-on-one matchup instead of the stupid mixed tag stipulation. You have Becky go over in the similar fashion that you had the first fall of this fucking matchup, or the first elimination of this matchup in this case. And then you have Lacey Evans at ringside. You have the altercation. You have Seth Rollins come out and bust it up. You have Andrade come out to equal the balance of Seth Rollins, since Zelina Vega will probably get involved as well. Becky finds herself in a 2-on-1, so the man's man comes out to help her out, and then Zelina's man comes out to help him out, and you go right into the next matchup when you come back from your much-needed break after they settle the commotion in the meantime. That's how you could have opened it. You could have had the same exact turnout. You could have had the same pinfalls. They could have wrestled the same exact matches. Because what was going to happen? And what did happen? Becky beat Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega gets eliminated. Normally when you get eliminated from an elimination match, you are escorted out from ringside and you go to the back. That was not the case on this night. Zelina Vega got to stay outside even after all of the bullshit with Lacey Evans. And that gave them a reason to have more physicality between the women on the outside, although everything that was going on between them had nothing to do with the matchup, because this match boiled down to Seth Rollins versus Andrade, which means when Becky Lynch eliminated Zelina Vega, she also eliminated herself from the match. So this whole thing is fucking stupid. How does this make sense? How did this get past the old man? Because he's looking with 70-year-old eyes and he don't know what the fuck makes sense anymore. This show is evidence of it more than any other show that we've seen all year. This was a terrible decision. Then you got Constable Dickhead coming out with the lady once again, and they're attacking Seth and Becky as they're loving each other and celebrating their victory on the ramp. And next thing you know, more chaos breaks out. Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans stand tall over the champions. One more time, if I gotta hear, what's gonna happen if Seth loses Becky's title? Ugh. What's gonna happen if Becky loses Seth's title? Ugh. That's not how this works, you idiot. It's a tag team matchup. So what you should be saying is, if the team loses, both competitors lose their championships. It doesn't matter who gets pinned. You want to add extra drama because we all know that Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins are burning it down with their ugly parts in their fucking bedroom? Who cares about any of that? That's not extra added drama. This is wrestling. Nobody cares what's going to happen to Seth and Becky if they lose, because they're most likely not going to lose. And if they do lose, and it's all to make a storyline out of this, I'd much rather stay home from work and watch All My Children. I mean, I haven't watched that show since I was in high school, but I could give it a shot, and it would probably be somewhere along the same fucking lines as what we're getting here. As the World Turns, Days of Our Wrestling Lives. However, whatever show you want to tune into, it's going to be better than whatever they got coming at us with this stupid storyline. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch have effectively been an item in the public eye and endorsed by the WWE, and within weeks, I am sick of it. They have taken two people that I respected as performers, that I enjoyed what they were doing, and made them completely nauseating. Made them cringe TV. And now you give Becky Lynch a t-shirt, or Seth Rollins rather, I don't know whose fucking shirt it is. It says, The Man's Man. It's The Man's Man. Whenever I see this shirt, I can hear William Regal's old theme song in my head. He's a man, such a man, the man's man, Seth's the man's man. Are you kidding me? Why don't you just have a shirt that says, I'm Becky's bitch? And where's Becky's shirt then? You're going to release one for him, release one for her. At least say, I'm the architect's woman. I burned Seth down. Whatever. Fucking stupid. I'm so sick of it. This whole thing boils down and finishes finally with Paul Heyman making his way to the ring. And Paul Heyman is not here tonight to talk about his new position. Paul Heyman is not here tonight to tell you his plans for Monday Night Raw's future. Paul Heyman is not here tonight to tell you anything you want to hear. He came tonight as the advocate to the Money in the Bank beast, Brock Lesnar, and gave us the same tired song and dance he gives us on every go-home show since Brock has procured the Money in the Bank briefcase, giving us the obligatory teasing. Brock Lesnar is going to cash it in at Extreme Rules. And if Paul Heyman could say the word extreme anymore, I think he would have had an orgasm in the middle of the ring. He was definitely getting off on it. It's going to be in Philadelphia. And it's extreme. And I know about extreme. And I feel like nobody gives a shit anymore. It's fucking 20 years ago. Sure, I have a soft spot in my heart for what I seen in ECW back in the day. But I certainly don't give a shit about it anymore. Paul Heyman wanted to hang his hat on it tonight. Fine. But at the end of the day, Paul Heyman is just giving us the old bait. Trying to get us all to go, oh, he's going to cash it in. But then in one fell swoop, tells you how much bullshit it is by telling you he also might not cash it in. So, we're just going to have to tune in to find out. Nice fucking try. First of all, I'm tuning in anyway because somebody's got to bring the hammer down on Extreme Rules, and I'm going to be the guy to do it like nobody else, just like this Raw review right now. But if you don't have to watch Extreme Rules and you want to do something constructive with your Sunday night, you could literally do anything else. You could go outside and watch the sunset. Go sit with your loved ones, watch a nice sunset. As the sun's coming down at 9 o'clock, you could be all relaxed, maybe have a glass of wine or your favorite beer in your hand, got your arm around your boo. It's a nice Sunday summer night. That's what you should be doing. Don't be doing what I'm doing at 9 o'clock, banging this hammer on my head, asking myself, why do I love wrestling so much, and why can I not stop watching this trash? And just to prove that Paul Heyman was not here to save us, they immediately followed Paul Heyman's segment by telling us we're getting a 2 out of 3 falls 6-man tag match featuring The Miz and the Usos versus Elias and the Revival. And while I always enjoy the work of the Usos and the Revival in ring, and tonight was not really much different, they do great things in the ring as opponents. Having The Miz and Elias as a part of this definitely brought me down. Once again, I don't understand why they're even still fighting. This is all based off of some bullshit that happened with Shane McSweatpants, and I don't care. And how many times are we going to see The Miz and Elias in a 2 out of 3 falls match? I think that's the only type of match they've had over the course of the last 4 weeks. Which means if you do the math and they've had a 2 out of 3 falls match every Monday and every Tuesday for the last 4 weeks, that's like 9,000 matches in 4 weeks. And who cares at this point? Who really gives a shit? And what are they fighting over? Nothing. At least with the Usos and the Revival, you got the Tag Team Championship on the line. This forced feud between these two guys with The Miz and Elias, I've been over it weeks ago. How many more times are we going to have to see one of these two guys pin each other? This is a feud that was over before it even began. And we've been seeing this match more than we've been seeing anything else. It's just fucking awful. The champs didn't even get respect tonight, as usual. The Revival gets the jobber entrance. We show the Usos come out doing their whole Uso penitentiary. We get everybody's entrances in, right? And the match was a 2 out of 3 falls match. So I didn't care, regardless of the action in the ring. It was just, please, get this over with. It's going to take up too much TV time. We are going to spend more time watching commercials than action. Get it over with. I don't want to see it anymore. It was fucking awful. Just about as awful as what the WWE decided to do tonight with Rey Mysterio. Let me fill you guys in on what I think should have happened with Rey Mysterio tonight before I tell you the disrespectful ridiculousness that went down for the Master of the 619. Now, Rey Mysterio is making his first appearance on tonight's Monday Night Raw since relinquishing his championship, the United States Championship, for injury. We all know how that turned out. It went to Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe would end up losing it to Ricochet. So now tonight, Rey Mysterio wants to issue an open challenge. It would have been much cooler had Michael Cole not fucking told everybody minutes before he made the challenge, oh, Rey Mysterio's here to issue an open challenge. Why not shut your mouth and let the guy cut his promo? And when he issued the open challenge, people might have been like, oh, he's going to issue an open challenge. And immediately a million thoughts come into your head. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? My thought of who it was going to be is who it should have been, not just because it's who I thought it should have been, but because, listen to this. If you follow me on Twitter, you already know what I'm going to say. If you're not, the handle's down there. You should be following me on Twitter. I live tweet during Raw and SmackDown all the time. And you missed this gem, but I'm going to give it to you guys anyway. Imagine tonight, Rey Mysterio comes out. He issues his open challenge. It is answered by the current United States champion, Ricochet. Ricochet says, hey, Rey, I know you had to give up this championship that's on my shoulder due to no real circumstances of your own other than being injured, so I want to give you the opportunity to earn this championship back. Fight me tonight, and if you win, we can go one-on-one for this title at Extreme Rules. Then you have them go out there and put on a nice little exhibition for 4 or 5 minutes before AJ Styles in the club comes out and ruins it all. And subsequently, what will you do? You got the pay-per-view coming up in a few days. You need to add a high-profile match. You need to add a match to have people talking, a match to get people interested. You book a triple threat for the United States Championship. AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio versus the champion Ricochet at Extreme Rules. And fuck it. You want to do something? Put it in a cage just to be able to keep Gallows and Anderson from interfering and, you know, just to make it extreme. To fit the theme of the pay-per-view. You telling me you wouldn't want to see that? Think about those 3 talents in the ring fighting over a championship in a cage, outside a cage, anywhere. False count, anywhere, whatever stipulation you want to throw on it. It would have been fantastic. It would have taken up a whole lot less time of Monday Night Raw tonight, and you could have accomplished something greater than the path that you are currently on with Ricochet and Rey Mysterio, because all you did tonight was squash Rey Mysterio. He's coming back from his return from injury to get squashed by the all-milk dud, boring, trashly Bobby Lashley, who has no reason to want to go fight Rey Mysterio. How is this a warm-up match for a match with Braun Strowman? Braun Strowman's 7 feet tall. Rey Mysterio is barely half that.
Oh, it's showing Bobby Lashley as a bully. He's just being a bad guy.
I don't care. I don't care about his programmer, Braun Strowman. I don't care about the fact that he came out tonight at all. He could have came out and squashed anybody, and I would be giving you the same exact analysis of Bobby Lashley being on Monday Night Raw tonight. But the fact that he took out a surefire WWE Hall of Famer, a guy that was just the United States champion, a guy that's just making his return back within 5 minutes is inexcusable. It is disrespectful to the legacy and career of Rey Mysterio, and it shouldn't have happened. What did it accomplish for Bobby Lashley? What did it accomplish? Did it make him look like a badass? No, it made him look like a fucking idiot. And it made me feel like an idiot for being a fan of this product.
Oh, you just love AEW.
Don't even. If you're still here with me at 29 minutes and you have that fucking opinion of me based off of what I'm saying, go watch my AEW reviews and get back to me. What a fucking shit show this was. Let's scroll up on the notes. 11 minutes and 34 seconds. 2 out of 3 falls. That's an average of 3 minutes per fall because we went all 3 falls. The Miz and the Usos defeat Elias and the Revival. So the champions take a loss. Do you care? I think I made it pretty clear that I haven't cared at all about the show, and neither should you. The 24/7 I'm a Clown Avocado Championship was all over this show once again. Drake Maverick trying to evade our truth all night long. I didn't give a shit. Lots of that stuff. Bobby Lashley defeated Rey Mysterio. Oh, I said under 5 minutes. I was being generous. F4W Online's results often has the times of the matches listed. And as I'm looking at it right now, Bobby Lashley, I'm going to read this sentence to you, and it's going to affirm everything I just said about this matchup. Bobby Lashley defeated Rey Mysterio in 56 seconds. Fuck this show. And fuck this company. Cesaro, for some reason, was given a match with No Way Jose. I don't understand it. Before the match, Cesaro chased away the conga line like that's a big deal. All the conga jerk-offs were out there doing their No Way Jose. Who gives a shit? Apparently Cesaro took offense to it, wanted to get fucking rid of him. This is another match. 1 minute and 10 seconds. Shows you what they think of No Way Jose at this point. And I'm not complaining about Cesaro getting a win, but how can you gloat about a win in 1 minute? What were they able to show us? What really happened in this matchup? Nothing. Cesaro squashed No Way Jose. I haven't seen this much squash since Thanksgiving dinner. Backstage, the Street Profits, who have been brought up to WWE to be hype men for nonsense. They were just brought up tonight to cut a promo for Extreme Rules. And of course, what do they got to talk about? Roman Reigns and The Undertaker versus Sweat McMahon and Drew I don't give a shit. Give me a reason to not like the Street Profits. I'm begging you. That's called sarcasm. In case you take me seriously for a second. There was nothing taken seriously on this show. They are actually going to go with and continue this Cuck Nellis storyline. And there are rampant rumors flying around saying that the Velveteen Dream may be called up to Monday Night Raw and revealed to be the guy who is the father of Maria Kanellis' next child. And all I want to tell you guys is I already went on my rant about daytime soap operas. I'm not going to list them all again. It's not worth my time nor yours. All I'm going to say is stop it with this shit. Why would anybody give a damn about these two at all? Why do you care about their relationship? They haven't been on fucking TV since they've been signed. They came out with the greatest love I've ever known. That stupid fucking theme song is the only thing you remember from their original tenure on the roster. And now they're coming back with marital problems. And Mike Cuck Nellis is going to be a bitch. And Maria Kanellis is going to be a bitch of a different kind. And we're going to have a pregnancy storyline. Yay! Unless Maria gives birth to a fucking hammer, I don't care. And even if she did, obviously, I still wouldn't care. Why would she give birth to a hammer? Idiot, this is the same company that made a 90-year-old woman give birth to a fucking hand. You think they wouldn't do some shit like that? What an awful, awful fucking show. They did a split-screen interview because this was necessary. Between Bayley and Nikki Cross. Tonight they are going to have a Beat the Clock challenge. I hate Beat the Clock challenges. I hate Beat the Clock challenges even more with this new commercial break rule. because it keeps everything in and underneath 5 minutes tops. And why do you give a shit? You know both women are going to win, just based off of the fact that it's a beat the clock challenge. Lance Storm made an interesting point, and it's a point that I actually had in my head, and I'm going to bring it to your attention right now, and I don't understand why they can't at least pretend for a minute like one of the other girls could win. And they could do that by saying something very simple, as in, well, if Bayley happens to lose this matchup, and Nikki Cross happens to lose her matchup as well, the girl who lost their match in the least amount of time will end up getting the chance to pick the stipulation. Give us a reason to not just sit there and wait for these girls to get the pin and just see how long WWE decided to give them. Bayley wrestles and goes almost 5 minutes with Sarah Logan. And Nikki Cross was able to beat Dana Brooke in less time than that. So 2 matches in a beat the clock challenge, both added up to less than 10 minutes of television time. And you're supposed to take this seriously. Awful. Just as bad as the interview. The interview is nothing to even talk about. It's the same shit we heard being told to Nikki Cross over the last 3 weeks. The first time it was, who was it? It was Natalya, then it was Naomi, then it was Carmella, now it's fucking Bayley. Everybody's trying to wake up Nikki Cross, telling her Alexa Bliss is trying to play her, but Nikki Cross is brainwashed by Alexa Bliss for some reason, can't see the writing on the wall. She's totally and completely devoted to Alexa and is pissed off at Bayley because Bayley wants her to be mad at Alexa. This is what this whole storyline is all about. And Alexa Bliss was not on Monday Night Raw tonight. Nikki Cross earning everything for Alexa Bliss. At some point, this is all going to blow up. And until that happens, I really don't give a shit about any of it. R-Truth and Carmella were looking around for Drake Maverick backstage. He was looking under crates. He was looking in drawers and all kinds of stupid shit. Screaming out for Hornswoggle. He starts quoting the Jeff Jarrett theme song. I can't wait to be alone with my baby tonight. He's singing the lyrics, but I don't understand why. R-Truth is a gem on most occasions, but ever since they've latched him on to this I'm a Clown Avocado Toast Championship belt, I don't really want to see R-Truth on TV right now. And that's a fucking sin. And I hate even saying it out loud because I've been such an advocate of R-Truth, but they are making a complete ass out of him, and it bothers me. The guy deserves more respect than this. Do you realize they are putting more active effort and storytelling and just they're working so hard on this 24/7 championship, but they can't come up with a thing for the women's tag team division? They can't get the Raw tag team division straight. They can't get any of their championships straight. They can't even get the Intercontinental Championship on TV, but we have to have multiple fucking segments about this fucking belt. It's as if all the writers are focusing all their attention on only that, and the rest of the show don't matter. And everything that they come up with for that is nothing but complete Hollywood trash. There is no time for that shit. The Viking Raiders. The Viking Raiders showed up from obscurity once again. Tonight they got to fight Colin Justin and Devin Justin, the Justin brothers, and these two dumbasses were just in time to collect a paycheck to just get the fuck out of here. We talked about this already with the Viking Raiders. Why are we going backwards? These guys were wrestling actual tag teams, teams like the B Team and others that I can't even think of because the tag team division is missing right now, and we're taking step backwards and giving them local enhancement talents. Watching them wrestle in 1 minute and 22 seconds. Are you seeing a pattern here? Wrestling comes last. Wrestling matches that last 2 minutes long. And you want me to tell you this show was good? You're going to sit there and come at me and tell me that I'm being harsh, that I'm being overly critical? This is facts, ladies and gentlemen. How can you get behind the Viking Raiders when you can't see them wrestle in their true form? I've seen these guys go 20 minutes in a War Games with the Undisputed Era. A minute and 22 seconds versus these two Justin idiots. They should have beat them in 20 seconds. Fucking awful. And all of this was rushed to get to the end of this matchup so that we could continue with the 24/7 shit. Drake Maverick runs out into the arena. Everybody's fucking following him. Who cares? Charlie Caruso's backstage with Roman Reigns, and he very smugly answers her like he didn't give a shit. He's like, I ain't got nothing for you. I know you want the big scoop, but I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to pick some guy. My partner's going to be with me at Extreme Rules, and we're going to bury them. And that was it. And unless you're deaf, you can hear what I hear. And the gloss on the Roman Reigns story has definitely worn off. The boos have returned, and it's not the man's fault. I'm not going to sit here and rip Roman Reigns the way we used to. The fault is in the fact that now he is embroiled in this fucking feud with Shane McMahon. He's getting sweat poured all over his legacy, and it's not helping. It's one thing for you to give me Roman Reigns again and want me to try to accept him after everything that we now already know. But to put him against an opponent like this and not solely have the focus on a guy more like Drew McIntyre and have all of the focus of everything be Shane McMahon, I'm done and I'm not interested. And until Shane McMahon has nothing to do with it, I don't want to see it. Anything that you put Shane McMahon in is immediately the worst segment on the show. Ricochet cut a promo before his matchup. He sounded like a sick little kid. I think Ricochet had a cold tonight. Or something. I don't know. Maybe he had allergies or something. Talking like this, Mickey Mouse, I'm good to make this. I felt bad for him. I wanted to give the guy a tissue. I'm not trying to make fun of him. It was just what he sounded like. I could barely understand what he was saying. He sounded a little bit like Porky Pig. He was all nasal and congested. Why didn't somebody let him blow his fucking nose before he came out there? Were they afraid his snot was going to ricochet all over the back? Somebody give the guy a heads up. Or maybe he was just nervous, or maybe that's just the way he talks. I don't know. I haven't heard him enough. But it was a lackluster promo at best. And this was all leading to his segments and his matches, which were going to involve the club. United States Champion Ricochet defeats Luke Gallows first in a non-title matchup in 3 minutes. Big Luke Gallows. Be better off going back to being Festus, bro. Standing around with your tongue hanging out, looking like a retard. Maybe Vince McMahon will push you to the moon then. But you bring up the club. You sign them. You ink them in. You're inking everybody in for 5-year deals. And now you put them on Monday Night Raw only to have them fucking lose in underwhelming fashion to Ricochet in back-to-back singles matches. And you think that's a good way to use the club. I already told you guys how this should have went down. Not going to go over any of that again. But all of this was unnecessary. There was more time spent on the mic, more time looking at promos and packages of what happened already than there was action in the ring. And that is one of the biggest sins you could commit on a professional wrestling show. As we hit the third hour, Ricochet, after defeating Gallows, was challenged by Ricochet Styles to now... By Ricochet Styles. You see how fucked up they got me tonight? Styles challenged Ricochet to fight Carl Anderson next, which is what would happen. And he would go on to defeat Carl Anderson in just under 5 minutes. The littler guy, Carl Anderson, took Ricochet longer to defeat. Some more common sense for you to try to digest. Because I see that is absolutely wrong. It should have at least been flip-flop. Shouldn't he have had a harder time beating the bigger dude? At least if you want to make Gallows look like he fucking matters, you could have gave him more time. You could have let Ricochet beat Carl Anderson in like 2 minutes and then have like a 6 or 7 minute match with the big man trying to beat the big guy. And then he finally does beat the big guy, and then he gets his ass beat by the club anyway. So there's another way they could have went about it to make it a little bit better, a little bit easier to digest maybe. But the fact that this is what they did to the club on their first Monday Night Raw, after finally saying, yeah, all right, we'll stick with you guys. You got us with our boy AJ. This is what you do. The only thing I want to see happen with this club thing is them involve Finn Balor, have him come into the fold. You have the four of them as a unit now and do something special with it. Don't keep doing shit like this, because this is not how it's done. And the fact that I can come up with that whole Rey Mysterio, Ricochet, AJ Styles triple threat, and they couldn't come up with anything even remotely close or interesting that way, is awful. And the only reason this segment got any sort of attention, or the reason why the crowd got behind it towards the end in any way, is because of the club. And everybody's excited about AJ and the club, and it's not going to amount to a hill of fucking beans, so everybody calm down. They aired a video package for the Evolve show this Sunday that is set to air on the WWE Network, exactly opposite AEW's Fight for the Fallen. Keep telling yourselves that the WWE don't give a shit about AEW, because moves like this don't happen if that were the case. And the fact that they did it is asinine to me, because if they think for 1 minute that they are really going to cut into the audience that is set to tune in to Fight for the Fallen, they're out of their mind. First of all, in order to see the Evolve show, you have to have the network. If you don't have the network, you're going to have to buy the network for $9.99. And if that's what you want to do, that's what you're going to do. I doubt you're going to do that. What you're going to do is you're going to watch Fight for the Fallen for free. It's a free show. That's what you'll choose to do, because even those of us like me who have the network, who are interested in seeing this Evolve show, even though I know nothing about it, we can go back and watch it at any time. We cannot see Fight for the Fallen again once it airs. Once it's done, it's done. You can go back and watch on demand on your network the Evolve show 10, 20, 15 times. You're going to watch Fight for the Fallen live. You're not going to watch the Evolve show over that. A WWE fan, most of which that have the network, have no idea what an Evolve even is. Not everybody is an indie mark. Not everybody scours the world for pro wrestling. The fact that they just put a spotlight on Evolve is a crazy thing. It's unprecedented. When has a WWE show in its history ever actively promoted a completely separate organization? Sure, they have a working business agreement, but they're a separate organization. They're not swallowed up by the WWE just yet. It's just an agreement between companies to help each other out, talent trades and whatnot. For them to say, hey, look at these guys, all that really means is they don't want you watching these other guys. And they know that their shit is so bad that they're going to offer you something very similar to AEW, even though it's not. And even though they're actively programming against it. They acknowledge it, it's there, or else this promo on this Monday Night Raw doesn't happen. You could take that shit right to the bank. And remember where you heard it. We go back to the 24/7 nonsense. Renee Michelle, Drake Maverick's wife, which I don't even really know is a real thing or not, is hanging out, sitting on a milk crate in the back. Drake Maverick says that he escaped the night. He made it. He made it the whole way through with the 24/7 champion. And I'm asking myself, does the man not have a watch? Is there not a fucking clock up around somewhere in the arena? Does he not realize the show is still going on and there is almost a full hour left when he makes the statement of, we did it, I survived, let's get out of here, the night's over, I made it through the night as the champion. There was a whole lot of night left to go. Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre showed up to talk to Gary. Gary who used his mop like a cane to help him walk. They offered him $5,000 to be Roman Reigns' partner, and he accepted, saying he'd do anything for $5,000. Anything? Anything. $5,000. I know $5,000's a nice piece of change, but anything, bro. 60-something-year-old man who can't walk using a mop to get around. Give me $5,000. I'll do anything. I'm going to go out there and get my ass kicked by a 7-foot-tall Scottish psychopath for $5,000. $500,000? Maybe that's a little bit more in the ballpark. $5,000? It's chump change, man. You don't take an ass whooping for $5,000. Unless you're really in debt or something. Who knows what Gary's got going on in his personal life behind the scenes. Fuck Gary. We all know how that ended up because we talked about it already. The Beat the Clock match. SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley defeated Sarah Logan. Why, again, SmackDown Championship stuff happening towards the end and in the final hour of Monday Night Raw. Why? Wild card. That's why. 4 minutes and 32 seconds. The crowd was not into this match. They started to chant for CM Punk. And although this was a 5-minute matchup, I'm going to go on record right now and say that this was probably the best 5 minutes Sarah Logan has ever had on a WWE program. It's the best she's ever looked. I thought she was a little impressive, and her in-ring ability seems to have taken a little bit of a step up in the right direction. However, the crowd couldn't give two shits, and I don't really blame them, because going into this, you have no reason to care. All of this stuff is supposed to be going down on SmackDown, like I said. Bayley has been an underwhelming champion thanks to the stuck-in-the-mud feud with Alexa Bliss. Nobody gave a shit. They gave even less of a shit about Nikki Cross being in the ring with the walking sausage factory Dana Brooke. Soon as this match turned up, I said, damn, I really want to watch Nikki Cross wrestle. It sucks that I have to turn away from the TV so I don't die of excessive vomiting. Nikki Cross defeats Dana Brooke in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. She then goes on to insist Bayley get in the ring because she's got something to say and she wants to say it to her face. Nikki Cross says to Bayley, Bayley, why don't you like Alexa Bliss? Alexa Bliss. Fuck out of here. Bottom line is, Nikki Cross tells everybody the stipulation for the title match this Sunday at Extreme Rules is going to be a 2-on-1 handicap match. And I don't know why. I can only assume, if we jump ahead a little bit, that Bayley will pin Nikki Cross, costing Alexa Bliss her shot at the championship, and then down this spiral we will go with this storyline. Mike Cucknellis brought the ice cream and the jar of pickles that his stupid wife wanted, even though she treats him like shit. Nobody gave a shit, because now he brings her the ice cream and she's like, this food's gonna make me fat. So now she's just being a fucking psycho pregnant lady, and nobody wants to have to see that. When you have your own psycho pregnant lady at home, which I don't right now, but I'm just saying, I have had one in my house, you do everything you can to try to keep her happy, and for, 9 times out of 10, even all of your best efforts are going to fall for nothing, because they are so emotional and just so back and forth with things, because their hormones are all over the place. So a pregnant woman is not a fun thing to watch. Unless she's yours. And you can have a little bit of fun with it. I don't want to see any of this shit. This is bullshit. On my fucking wrestling show. 2 fucking people we haven't seen wrestle in ages. I'm supposed to give a shit about you? Nobody gave a shit about you when you showed up in the first place. Corey Graves shows up in the back to interview the most nauseating couple in all of professional wrestling. He talks to the man's man and Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch called him an emo head, that he's trying to be a respected journalist, and she gets that. But she's backed up everything she said, and Seth's backed up everything that he said and blah, blah, blah. And then Seth Rollins, after Becky goes off on this whole thing, all he has to add is what she said. You want to talk about taking this guy's fucking balls away or what? You took all of his momentum by making his wrestling career all about his relationship. You gave him a fucking t-shirt that gave him an identity of only being the belonging of somebody else. And now you're not even allowing him to speak. You're just going to let her do all his talking for him. This is Seth frickin' Rollins. Awful. If I was Seth Rollins, I would want this storyline ended immediately. I can still be your boyfriend. You know, I can still dive into the Ginger Mountains if I want to. But on TV, let's go our fucking separate ways. The Street Profits came back to talk about Extreme Rules again. They decided to make jokes about Baron Corbin. They talked about fucking Becky Lynch. And I'm asking myself, why is this how they're using and introducing the Street Profits? You want to give people a reason to care about them? This is not the way to do it. I know what the Street Profits are all about. I know what they can bring. And the tag team division needs the Street Profits. Not these Street Profits that Monday Night Raw is showing you, but the actual NXT Tag Team Champion Street Profits that can kick your teeth down your throat and put on a fucking fantastic tag team exhibition. But instead we got them on there making jokes, acting like two clowns. Doing nothing but trying to sell us into buying this fucking pay-per-view. Which most of us are getting anyway. Because anybody who's watching it is most likely only the people that own the network and have nothing better to do with their Sunday night. Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre defeat Roman Reigns and Cedric Alexander in all of 2 minutes. The main event of Monday Night Raw. This epic confrontation. This surprise fucking tag team partner that they have been hyping up and talking about for days was a 2-minute match to end Monday Night Raw. And we already talked about that. This whole thing was absolutely a disaster. We've called Raw a dumpster fire. We've called Raw a train wreck. We've called Raw a runaway disaster before. But take all of those things, combine them into one epic Eve of Destruction event. Extinction level event. That's the definition of tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. AEW cannot get here soon enough. And no, Coon. No. It's not because I want AEW more. It's not because I like AEW better. You ridiculous goon ass. It's because the WWE needs a reason to take shit seriously. To get better. And to be great like it once was. Can it be again? It certainly doesn't look like it. Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff have not shown any signs of even being employed by this company. In Heyman's case, other than being the advocate to Brock Lesnar. That's all I got for you guys tonight, man. I'm absolutely exhausted and drained by this show. It was a goddamn disaster. And I am definitely not looking forward to tomorrow's SmackDown Live as we head towards Sunday in Extreme Rules. Thank you guys for being with me here tonight. If you missed anything on the channel, we have done all kinds of things this weekend. We brought the hammer out on Hollywood once again, and the newest episode of Hammering Hollywood covered Spider-Man Far From Home. Find out why that movie is absolutely wrong, even though it was a pretty cool 2 hours to spend watching. Don't forget to check out that review. Let me know what you think about that. Do not forget to check out everything else on this channel, from all of our AEW coverage, our WWE 2K19 commentary videos, our Pro Wrestling Crate unboxings, and so much more. If you enjoyed anything we did here today, please slam your mouse buttons or your fingers on your touchscreens on that thumbs up. Let everybody, especially me, know you had a good time watching today's show. If I made you laugh, if I made you cry, if I made you upset, if I made you anything, if I made you sit here for 1 full hour, hit that thumbs up right now. If you're not already a member of the Sledgehammer TV family, join the Sledgehammer Club right now by hitting that subscribe button and become one of the over 1,700 fans worldwide that know when you want your wrestling and entertainment news bullshit free and full of truth and justice. Sledgehammer TV is the place to be. This is the Team Thor, the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, his tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. My name, ladies and gentlemen, is Nick Nightmare, and the most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you. And it's a call to arms right now. Let's get this channel to 2,000 subscribers before we hit the end of July, and we could do that with your help. All you have to do is share this video and invite everybody you know to come along and subscribe and join the coolest, newest faction in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, where we have a whole lot of fun while we bring the hammer down on all things wrestling and entertainment. That, my friends, is going to do it, and we are out of here. And we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com.